What's up, Euro Football Daily? On today's video, we're counting down 10 teams that have entered a new era in 2022. Let's go. 10. Fulham. Kicking things off with Fulham, who are enjoying an impressive return to the top flight of English football. Marco Silva's side have bettered their start to the previous two campaigns in the Premier League, having matched their entire 2021 win tally in October. With promoted sides often expected to simply push for survival, the Cottagers appear to be going beyond that, with mid-table a seemingly realistic shout, given they sit 7th at the time of writing, something few would have predicted at the start of the season. Perhaps what is most impressive about this current Fulham side is that they look more suited to the top flight than in recent times, with their attacking prowess having improved considerably. Marco Silva's side currently sit in the top 7 for shots on target, and the top 6 for goals scored. Their new recruits have shone as well too, with the likes of Andreas Pereira ranking in 5th for key passes in the league with 2.3 per 90, and also sitting in the top 10 for dribbles too. They may have also secured one of the bargains of the summer in João Palhinha, who at the time of recording ranks top of both tackles and pressures in the league. With their continued smart investments, it seems the shocker campaigns like 1920 could very well be a thing of the past for Marco Silva's side. 9. Benfica. With their last piece of major silverware coming over 3 years ago, Benfica fans have endured a relatively long dry spell following a period between 2013 and 2019 in which they won 5 out of 6 league titles, going into the current campaign having finished outside the top 2 in consecutive seasons for the first time in over a decade. This summer they hired Roger Schmidt, their first non-Portuguese coach since Quique Sanchez Flores left the club in 2009, and sold over €130 million worth of talent, their biggest yard sale since 2019-20, when João Felix alone was sold for around that much. But so far Schmidt hasn't put a foot wrong, going unbeaten in his first 20 games as manager, and winning all but 4 of them. At the time of recording, the Eagles sit 6 points clear at the top of the Primera Liga, and already into the Champions League last 16, having drawn with PSG twice and beaten Juventus home and away, largely thanks to a superb defences, conceding just 0.5 goals at home and 0.75 goals in Europe, with 18-year-old centre-back Antonio Silva, who is already being linked with a host of elite clubs including PSG and Liverpool, one of their standout performers. The sun is certainly shining bright once again on the red side of Lisbon. 8. Toulouse. Languishing towards the bottom of Ligue 1 for much of the 2010s before eventually getting relegated 2 years ago, Toulouse were taken over by investment firm Redbird Capital in 2020, just as they were embarking on a first season back in the second tier for over 20 years. They immediately appointed the experienced Damien Comolli, previously of Liverpool and Spurs, as club president, and set about a strategy to get back into the top flight, with a big focus on data analytics and utilising the club's esteemed academy. As a result, they bounced back to Ligue 1 within 2 years on a budget of less than €30 million, all while selling off key academy products like Ibrahim Sangare, Kouadio Kone and Amin Adli. And while their main aim this season is to avoid relegation, they are reportedly aiming for a top 6 finish in 23-24, something they haven't achieved since the late 2000s. And their return to Ligue 1 is going to plan so far. They sit 10th after 12 games, having scored just 1 goal fewer than Champions League level Marseille, and having taken points off Lyon and high-flying Lorient. And with 19-year-old Fares Shaibi registering 2 goals and 4 assists in 7 starts, their latest academy star is impressing too. 7. Ajax. Having seen a huge exodus across the board this summer, with manager Erik ten Hag leaving the club alongside star names such as Ryan Gravenberch, Sebastian Haller, Anthony, Nicolas Tagliafico, Andre Onana and Lisandro Martinez, it is fair to say that a new era is very much beginning at the Johan Cruyff Arena. Tasked with the job of rebuilding the side is Alfred Schreuder, although it has been far from easy thus far. With the summer exits aside, results have been hit and miss. Whilst they sit atop the league table, they find themselves dropping into the Europa League. Replacing the outgoing players certainly looked like no enviable task. However, Schreuder and the club have managed to do it successfully, with Brian Brobby becoming the most impressive, leading the side for goal contributions thus far with 10 in his 7 appearances, making a €16 million fee seem like a coup. Steven Bergwijn was also signed for €31 million, a slightly more expensive purchase, but he has performed well thus far, with 9 goal contributions in 10 outings for the Eredivisie outfit, shining alongside Brobby in attack. With this new look Ajax side, it'll be interesting to see how the Schreuder era compares to that of his predecessor. Whilst results may not have been up to par just yet, their solid recruitment may be what allows them to return to their brilliant best sooner rather than later. 6. Werder Bremen. Getting relegated from the Bundesliga for the first time in 40 years in 2021, Werder Bremen have lurched from crisis to crisis in recent years, sacking longtime manager Florian Kohfeldt before their final game of the 2021 season with survival still to play for, and seeing his permanent replacement Marcus Angfang resign months later amid allegations that he had forged a COVID vaccine certificate. But following a decade of decline, the club that regularly finished in the top 3 during the 2000s are back on an upward trajectory under Ole Werner, who at 34 is the youngest manager in the Bundesliga. Taking over a side that had lost 5 of its opening 15 games in the second tier, Werner won 9 of his first 10 games, guiding Die Werneraner to automatic promotion in the process. And while the top flight has proved a tougher test, Werner's side are holding their own, sitting 11th at the time of writing, closer in points to the Champions League spots than the relegation zone, and having recorded some impressive victories, including a dramatic 3-2 win away at Dortmund and a 5-1 demolition of Borussia Mönchengladbach. With striker Niklas Füllkrug now an outside shout for Germany's World Cup squad, Werder Bremen are once again a relevant force in German football. 5. Burnley. When Sean Dyche was removed from his post at Turf Moor after a decade in charge, it very much signalled the end of an era at Burnley, given just how synonymous Dyche was with the Claret and Blues. Alongside the departure of the manager, Burnley saw a mass of players leave who had been mainstays for a long period, with the likes of Nick Pope, James Tarkowski, Dwight McNeil and Ben Mee making up just some of the names who left in the summer. Tasked with the job of ushering in a new era at Turf Moor was Man City legend Vincent Kompany, fresh off his first managerial job in charge of Anderlecht. The Belgian wasted little time stamping his authority on the club, bringing in a bunch of younger names with 15 signings, of which the oldest was 26. Under Kompany, Burnley have shifted from the pragmatic approach of Dyche to a possession-heavy and exciting style, with no side in the Championship bettering their average of 64% possession and 30 goals scored. Gone is the defensive style of old, with Burnley ranking first for aerial wins last season in the Premier League, but just 21st out of 24 teams in the Championship. Paired with their new passing-heavy system, it looks as if Kompany is bringing a new look to Turf Moor. 4. Lille. Lille's miraculous journey to the Ligue 1 crown under Christophe Galtier was exemplified by France's best defence, with the side failing to concede over 33 goals in each of his 3 full seasons in charge, and conceding just 23 in their title-winning campaign of 2020-21. They scored just 64 that year, only the 4th best attacking return in the division, and 22 fewer than PSG. But following the departure of highly successful sporting director Luis Campos and a disappointing title defence under Jocelyn Gourvenec, the club have entered a new era under new coach Paulo Fonseca, who's got them scoring 2.1 goals a match so far this term, an even better average than their free-scoring days under Rudi Garcia, when their squad boasted Eden Hazard and Dimitri Payet. Only PSG and Rennes are scoring more than them. They are one of the most ball-dominant sides in the country too, and striker Jonathan David is in the form of his life, scoring 9 in his first 12 appearances and averaging a goal or an assist every 89 minutes. Having sold Sven Botman, Amadou Onana and Zaki Celik in the summer, Lille's defence has become a whole lot leakier, losing 7-1 to PSG in August and keeping just 2 clean sheets so far this term. But with Paulo Fonseca's attacking first philosophy firmly in place, the Stade Pierre-Mauroy is witnessing its most exciting football in years. 3. Napoli. This summer marked a huge turning point for Napoli. Having finished in a respectable 3rd place last term, they seemed unlikely to achieve that this season, after seeing a lot of mainstays leave, including Lorenzo Insigne, Dries Mertens, Fabian Ruiz and Kalidou Koulibaly. Needing to freshen up his squad, Luciano Spalletti spent €68 million to bring in Giovanni Simeone, Tanguy Ndombele, Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa, Kavisha Kvaratskhelia and Kim Min-jae. And as with any squad overhaul, few would have expected immediate success. Their blistering start to the season so far is one that not many would have seen coming, with Spalletti's side sitting atop the league while playing some of, if not the most exciting football on the continent. Spalletti's side have scored the most goals in both the League and Champions League, ranked top for shots and shots on target in both competitions, and ranked 2nd in Serie A for possession, averaging just under 3 goals per game across all competitions so far, having yet to lose a single game in either the League or Champions League. At the time of writing, they are currently on course to surpass their previous season, with improvements on every metric including goals scored and points per game. Napoli look like they're on track to enjoy a historic campaign, which could very well end in silverware, doing so with a young and exciting squad that could continue to be a force domestically for the coming seasons. 2. Chelsea. One of the most obvious shouts for this list, Chelsea's 2022 has signalled the end of an era not only for the club but the Premier League. With Roman Abramovich forced sale of the club bringing about the end of a tenure that transformed the transfer market and kick-started an era of overseas billionaire owners in the English game. And Todd Boehly's takeover also brought about an end, perhaps prematurely, to the Thomas Tuchel mini-era, with the German coach who won the Champions League in 2021 and took the Blues to 6 finals in 18 months, making way for Graham Potter. Boehly's arrivals also signalled a return to the early Abramovich years, with the club's £254 million outlay in the summer of 2022 representing the most lavish transfer window in Premier League history, while their player sales amounted to just £51 million, their lowest transfer revenue in a decade. In the space of a few months, the club has welcomed a new owner, a new board and a new manager. And they recently announced the appointment of the highly rated Lawrence Stewart as technical director. And it won't stop there, with Boehly suggesting in September that he could follow in the footsteps of Red Bull and Man City in establishing a multi-club network to help nurture Chelsea's abundance of young talent. As the Premier League's chasing pack desperately await the end of the Klopp and Guardiola dynasties at Liverpool and Man City, Chelsea may be best placed to take advantage if Boehly's project is successful. 1. River Plate. On the 13th of October, Marcelo Gallardo, the most successful manager in River Plate history, announced he would leave the Argentine club when his contract expires at the end of 2022, marking the end of an 8-year spell that had seen him win 2 of the club's 4 Copa Libertadores and secure them a record 37th national title amongst many other achievements. The winner of the South American Coach of the Year award for 3 years running between 2018 and 2020, Gallardo had previously been linked with both the Man United and Barcelona jobs, and will no doubt have multiple suitors when he leaves his post at the Estadio Monumental. And as for who will replace him, a number of potential candidates have been talked about in the press, from Marcelo Bielsa to another legendary River Plate figure in Ramon Diaz, who ranks second to Gallardo when it comes to silverware won for the club. But at the time of writing, Martin Di Michelis, who began his playing career at River and is currently in charge of Bayern Munich's reserve team, looks like the frontrunner, with Argentine outlet TNT Sports claiming he has already informed his employers of his wish to take the job and that talks between the two parties are already underway. So guys, that was 10 clubs entering a new era. I'm sure we left plenty of good candidates out, so let me know who we did in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to EuroFootball Daily to never miss a video, and I'll catch you next time.